Canfora is the Executive Director of Repower Michigan. Luke.
Not quite as tall as Chris. Good evening, everybody. Thank you. I'm Luke Canfora. I'm with Repower America. Repower America is former Vice President Gore's climate change campaign. We are trying to enact full, complete energy reform here in the United States of America. Our bill, much like many other folks groups here, bill is caught up in that mess in the Senate right now, and that's why we're all here, right? Because we would tell them we want to move things forward and get things moving. I do want to thank John Freeman for pulling this meeting together. This is just great. I'm impressed with the size of this crowd. His leadership, Roger Robinson and Rick Blocker, for having us here tonight. You know, when a lot of people think of the climate change and energy legislation, that's immediately what they go to think of, is climate change and global warming. But as this goes further and further, it's about so much more than that. Last week there was an article in the Wall Street Journal about the U.S. trade gap growing again. I'm going to read you a couple quotes. I don't want to put you all to sleep too early. But it says how a sign of economic vitality with the deficit growing simply because the U.S. is importing more goods to feed domestic growth, in part to rebuild inventories depleted during a recession, than it's selling abroad. That is our trade gap. As long as increases in imports continue to surpass that of exports, trade won't make a positive contribution to U.S. growth. Finally, the worst part. The most of the import surge, the number one thing that is growing the trade gap here in the United States of America and the rest of the world, is larger volumes of oil that are being brought in week after week and month after month. That is what's keeping us from having a complete economic recovery. And we in Michigan don't need to be told anymore about how bad the economy is and how bad we need economic recovery. Are there any UAW members in this room? It's terrible. And that's why we need comprehensive energy reform.
China needs to trade fairly.
China
needs to trade fairly.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. 1 million jobs lost in the next year because China is undervaluing its currency.
You are correct. That is true. I can't debate that. All right. I love it. But the fact of the matter is clean energy legislation and comprehensive energy reform is the number one thing we can do today and we can do now to create jobs in the United States of America. And we're talking about great jobs that can't be outsourced. Don't believe me? Go to Hamtramck and look at the Volt plant. Men and women are back to work building cars here in America. Look at the car of the year last year, the Ford Fusion, made in America. This is what we can do. These are jobs that aren't going anywhere.
Parts made in America?
Parts are made in America, especially in the energy sector. For example, great question. Danotech Motion Technologies, it creates high-efficient wind turbines right here in Canton. In Warren, they just opened up a new battery plant that'll go into all of these new cars of the future. This is the direction we need to go. The Hamtramck plant brings its spindle assemblies from Greenville, created 90 jobs out there just by this coming in. It is the only way we can get back on track and start putting people back to work with long-term jobs from entry-level to high-end to manufacturing. And I think we all know there are no better workers in the world than the men and women in Michigan. And they're all ready to have work. And additionally, this is really a national security issue. Okay? We're borrowing money from people that hate us and giving it to regimes that want to hurt us to continue our dependence on foreign oil. And it's so, everyone in here seems like family. I know I see my brother Tommy Smith with SEIU out there, so this is great. So please, take some action. There's a lot of tables over here. Our table is over there. Please take a minute, record a video. We're going to send all these videos right to Senators Levin and Stabenow to let them know that Michigan is ready for these jobs and we need to move this legislation down the field. Write a letter to the editor and stop by all these other wonderful tables, but take action. So just to wrap up, when it comes to climate change, and science, who do you trust? Nobel laureate Al Gore or Glenn Beck? When it comes to national security and safety, who do we trust? Wesley Clark or Sarah Palin?
Or Dick Cheney.
Where do we want to create jobs? Do we want to create jobs here in Michigan or in Tehran, Iran? That's right. And who do we want to make wealthy and give a better quality of life? Michigan workers or fat cat oil executives?